Coming up in today's bulletin, the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, pledges to continue the enviable legacy handed on to the people of Pasa by the former President, Dede Narkie. Former Volta Regional Minister and Member of Parliament for Karachi West constituency, Helen Adjoan, also criticized the ruling New Patriotic Party government for abandoning KJB and some Volta roads without tangible reasons. Also coming up, Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari has appealed to his fellow Nigerians to stay calm and go back to business after SARS group has been disbanded. Ahead in business, the Aviation Minister Joseph Kofi Kowu-Adda has signed a memorandum of understanding with Egypt Air to boost the aviation industry. Later on our international front, Israeli government is accused of shielding police officers who shot dead autistic Palestinian men. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Pan-African News here on Pan-African Television. My name is Ivy Abuna Dede Narkie Teye. We bring you details of these stories and some others in the next 1 hour. Do stay. Thank you for staying. We are live on Facebook at Pan-African Television. We're streaming live here at our studio 48 Swanika Street at Belempe. Now the news in detail. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has pledged to continue the enviable legacy handed on to the people of Pasa by former President, His Excellency John Agyekum Kufuor. Speaking during a 3-day tour of a newly created OT region, he further disclosed that the new Patriotic Party can truly develop and meet the needs of the area.
Pasa is one of the communities in the Nkwanta North district of the newly created OT region, which was voted for in a referendum on December 27, 2018. Amidst singing and dancing, the inhabitants applauded the president for the numerous developmental projects undertaken in the area. In a welcome address, the chief of Pasa, Ubor Konja Tensan, touched on policies executed by government since the era of former President John Agyekum Kufuor.
Enyumbrayi yabakachira omampani se yani aje pa espasa pasamai oti region yani aje efise Ghana mpenyifo abedi president ekoye but omampani Nana Akufo-Addo ni mra yi die eyesoronko Nkwanta North nipa enhia ya pa na yese enhia ya okom die yese okoma development to come ene Nkwanta North.
The president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, also touted government's accomplishments and urged them to vote massively for him and the new Patriotic Party in the upcoming general elections.
Nkwanta North Papa dia abahano eye Owura Kufuor breso ene bai. You say Papa o ha me MPP for na me MPP ni no me Owura Kufuor na me wona ba mu aba ba ya me de say me de ne say me so me ba be toaso ma papa e wo mu no so etumi aba. And now I OT region I region for front. The Mr. Otimai and the say, some more monya mudi and more free baby, aba mudi more. Chinyanu so a katakata moso adoso, and also more free as here. More free chinyan as here, na mo betra or so no so, or so no na de kopoko so, Papa Bembra.
Meanwhile, the former Volta Regional Minister and Member of Parliament for Karachi West constituency, Helen Adjoan-Toso, has heavily criticized the New Patriotic Party for abandoning the KJB roads without tangible reasons. In an interview, she also questioned the ruling New Patriotic Party government for the undue delay in completing the project inherited from the previous administration.
This was how the road network looked like after it was awarded to a contractor, but still remains in a bad state, endangering the lives of both motorists and commuters.
The road from Dambai to Karachi was so bad. It was taking us 2 hours from Dambai to Karachi. Then the NBC, JM knows that we were traveling on a very bad road. So a contractor was awarded this contract to construct the road for us. And this contractor is First Sky Construction Limited. He's a very good contractor. From 1964, we've been driving on bad roads. So if the contractor has been awarded this contract and to tar, we were all singing praises to God.
According to her, the president swore and promised to construct the road should be taken as a complete failure on the part of the government.
So I have to ask an urgent question for the Minister for Roads and Highways to come and answer why the contractor was not asked to go back to work. Then in Parliament on the floor, he said they had finished the auditing and they had found nothing wrong or told with the contract, so they were going to ask the contractor to go back. Then after 5 months, the contractor was asked to go back to work. Now you've got to pay the contractor to speed up the work. Then we realized that the work has stopped. So I've got to ask another question.
The lawmaker also urged well-meaning Ghanaians in the OT region to desist from aligning themselves with the New Patriotic Party as it deliberately delayed the project for years and deprive them of access to the facility.
How? Don't we deserve good roads? Now they have stopped the contractor. When he recently came to Parliament and said they have rescoped the work, and that as for the Karachi town roads, they have decided to re-award the contract in 2021. Then I said, how?
Now, barely a week after reports emerged that work was progressing steadily on the Pokwasi interchange following a tour of the facility, workers have laid down their tools and called for better wages. According to them, they will only resume work when their grievances are fully addressed.
The Roads Minister, Kwesi Amoako-Atta, toured the interchange barely a week ago and expressed satisfaction with progress of work in an interaction with the media.
They are constructing almost a 2-kilometer storm drain, as part of the project to ensure that we don't experience any flooding in this area. Storm drain issues should be part and parcel of such projects, so that they become one solid, indivisible, composite project, so that by the time you finish the construction of the bridge, the drain issues or the flooding issues are also catered for. Enough monies are released.
Met amidst cheering, singing and applause by workers and onlookers, little did others know that the workers had concerns to be fully addressed. In a demonstration, the aggrieved workers expressed their frustration over poor wages and working conditions, especially in this time of COVID-19.
As our salary structure, please, you get what I mean? Yes, they should provide us a salary structure. We waited for a while now. They didn't do it. And then the employment procedure, up to date, they've not done it. And then we also asked them, they said time lost beyond our two parties. When you come to work, they need to provide you the PPEs. And then they are not providing the PPEs. When it rains, they said, they use the term kata. Because during the rainy season, you are not working. You are just sitting down, doing nothing. And they said, but you see, remember in Ghana, when you report at work, whether rain or shine, they must give you your normal 8 hours. And they're not giving us the 8 hours. And look at the nature of the work that we are doing. Somebody will come upstairs like this. They call one M6, M7, and they will make the person 150 pesos. Sometimes others are not even getting those things. Right now, we are crying for an increment. Yes. So the increment is one, and also the condition of the work. You know, they have to protect us. You see, we need a lot of protection. Where we go to now, you see, it's about to finish. I cannot even talk for the consultant and other people. But for all you know, we are about to finish. And for checkups and other things, they have not been taking us to.
Pan-African Television will keenly bring you updates of the resolution of the demands of these workers.
Still on our local front, 27 persons, including a traditional leader alleged to be Western Togoland secessionists who have caused disturbances in the Volta region, has been charged with treason felony. According to an amendment charge sheet, the accused are also facing charges of causing unlawful damage, stealing, and rioting with weapons.
These 27 persons, alleged to be Western Togoland secessionists, have been accused of not only causing disturbances in the region in September this year, but also preparing to usurp the country's executive powers. According to the amended charge sheet, the accused are also facing charges of causing unlawful damage, stealing, rioting with weapons, conspiracy, and participating in the campaigns of Western Togoland, a prohibited organization. The court, however, did not read the charges out to the accused persons. The lawyers for the accused were, however, displeased with the fact that their clients were in court without their charges being read to them. They also indicated that their clients, who are mostly breadwinners of their families, had not been fed while in police custody, although some of them were on medication due to serious health problems. The court denied the suspect's bail on the grounds that it lacked the jurisdiction to do so. The case has since been adjourned to November 9th, 2020.
The Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari has appealed to his compatriot to suspend the strike and stay calm for sanity to prevail. Addressing the nation on a televised speech, he expressed sadness over the mayhem and disclosed that the SARS group has been disbanded after a careful assessment of the issue.
After several years of protests to get the Special Anti-Robbery Squad unit of the Nigerian police disbanded, President Muhammadu Buhari urged the youth and Nigerians to remain calm and resume their normal businesses.
Pronouncements. In the circumstances, I would like to appeal to protesters to note and take advantage of the various well-thought-out initiatives of this administration designed to make their lives better and more meaningful, and resist the temptation of being used by some subversive elements to cause chaos with the aim of truncating our nascent democracy. For you to do otherwise will amount to undermining national security and the law and order situation. Under no circumstances will this be tolerated.
The president further announced the disbandment of the SARS group, saying, after carefully analyzing the true demands of the youth in exercising their right to demonstrate, the group had no power to use excessive force on the citizenry.
Many concerned Nigerians, and having concluded a meeting with all the security chiefs, I must warn those who have hijacked and misdirected the initial, genuine and well-intended protest of some of our youth in parts of the country against the excesses of some members of the now disbanded Subshell Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS. On Monday, 12th October, I acknowledged the genuine concerns and agitations of members of the public regarding the excessive use of force by some members of SARS. The choice to demonstrate peacefully is a fundamental right of citizens as enshrined in Section 40 of our Constitution and other enactments.
He further thanked the chiefs and youth who restrained themselves and commended the international community for their statement, but advised them to get their facts right before commenting on the matter, so as not to disrupt the sustenance of democracy in Africa's most populous nation.
Community, many of whom have expressed concern about the ongoing development in Nigeria, we thank you and urge you all to seek to know all the facts available before taking a position or rushing to judgment and making hasty pronouncements.
Now, the United Nations, which was the brainchild of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, officially came into existence on October 24, 1945, with a mandate of maintaining international peace and security, developing friendly relations among nations, and promoting respect for human rights. As part of activities marking its 75th milestone, our news desk profile Samuel Lastros Ghanaians who once worked with the renowned global organizations and has filed this report.
Ghana, widely described as a bastion of democracy and an oasis of peace, has contributed mightily to the success story of the institution. Some of her illustrious citizens who've served in recognizable and respectable capacities for it are Kofi Annan, Alex Kwesi-Ntsaki, Patrick Sedor, Kenneth Dazi, Dr. Robert Gardner, and Dr. Kingsley Amoako. Kofi Atta Annan of blessed memory served as Under Secretary General for Peacekeeping Operations from 1993 to 1996. The Nobel Peace Prize laureate was also the 7th Secretary General from 1997 through to 2007. Alex Kwesi-Ntsaki, who served as Foreign Affairs Minister and permanent representative to the body, was President of the General Assembly from 1964 to 1965. An accomplished French scholar and distinguished career diplomat, Epiphan Patrick Komla-Sedor became the first elected African member to chair the Executive Board of the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, from 1983 to 1985. Kenneth Kweku Sinaman Dazi, who had an accomplished career in diplomacy, was the first African Secretary General of the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development from January 1, 1986 to March 31, 1994. An astute civil servant, academic and economist, Dr. Robert Kweku Gardner was Executive Secretary of the Economic Commission for Africa from 1962 to 1975, a position Dr. Kingsley Amoako occupied from 1995 to 2005. Additionally, some senior army officers have also distinguished themselves in peacekeeping roles for the United Nations. Lieutenant General Emmanuel Alexander Atoeskin, retired, was the first force commander of the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon from 1978 to 1981. Lieutenant General said Kofi Obin retired, also served in the same capacity from 1999 to 2001. Major General Delali Johnson Sechi commanded the United Nations mission in South Sudan from 2012 to 2014, whilst Major General Francis Vibe Sanziri of blessed memory served as Force Commander of the United Nations Disengagement Observer Force from 2017 through to 2019.
Now to some health stories. Today is Friday, the 23rd day of October 2020, and as part of the Pink for Hair campaign, Pan-African Television is holding a free breast screening exercise at the premises of Pan-African Television. This is part of Pan-African Television's corporate social responsibility to intensify education on the disease and its prevention. Our reporter Fauzu Masawudu is on the grounds and he brings us the very latest.
Thank you very much, Ivy. You are still watching Pan-African News on Pan-African Television. Now, experts say that aside skin cancer, perhaps breast cancer is the deadliest cancer that could ever happen to anyone. It only means one thing. It only means that breast cancer is at war against humanity, a war that has necessitated the inclusion of organizations as Pan-African Television. If you've been following us across our platforms, you realize that we have been very big about creating awareness on Pan-African Television, and today is the big day. Our free breast screening exercise is ongoing here at our premises, and basically I'll be interacting with a few people to find out how the experience has been like. Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
I believe you've screened already.
Yeah, I did.
What was the experience like? Share with us.
Actually, this is my first time having the screening, and this kind of process. It was okay. Yes.
It was okay. That's fine. So she says it's okay. Was it okay for you too?
I feel everything was okay. You know, from the beginning, I was a little frightened because I hadn't tried it before, and then I didn't know how the whole process was. But then, fine. Yeah, it's nothing to be scared of. So I urge people to come and have themselves checked.
Okay, she's urging you to come and have the check for yourself. It's ongoing. Let me quickly talk to one of our anchors and reporters here, Maud.
Hello, yeah, I'm doing well.
I personally saw to be screened. Run me through the experience.
Well, I was a bit nervous because it's my first time, and when I got there, when they started holding my boobs, trying to examine my boobs and all that, I felt a sharp pain, you know, but apparently it's because I'm ovulating, so it's not because I have a symptom, of course. So I was told after my menses or my period, I should make sure I try myself at home. So, but it was okay with me. It was fine. Yeah.
Okay. So it was okay. Smart. So we are still here speaking to people. Let me quickly go to Lizzie. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Lizzie, have you screened yet?
Yes, I have.
Same question to you. Experience.
Just like Maud said, I was also nervous because this is my first time doing something like this. But then it was okay. The experience was great, and I urge everyone to also once in a while try to, you know, examine your breast to see that everything is okay with you. Yeah.
Now, did you? I mean, earlier people were raising concerns of they being shy and what have you. Is that your story too?
Yeah, I was. When I got to the room, it was myself and the nurse.
Okay.
But then she encouraged me that it's nothing. I should just relax, and then she walked me through the process. So it's not anything.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Lily. So it's nothing so strange. It's very simple as ABC. So you know it's a teamwork over here at Pan-African Television. But it is said that the one who knows the destination must lead the way. So I'm here with Makiza Micheline Latifa. Makiza is the project lead for this whole breast cancer awareness project we are embarking on here at Pan African Television. Makiza, first let me tell you, you've done a yeoman's job.
Thank you so much.
You've done what Napoleon couldn't do.
Thank
Makiza,
you so
kudos
much.
to you.
Kudos to
but
you too.
Really quickly, let me find out from you. I mean, we had our vision, we had our mission, and we had our drive. First question to you, Makiza, has your expectations been met?
Absolutely. In the beginning, I was so scared about the turnout because it has to do with the breast, and people will be uncomfortable coming to get screened, you know, taking off their clothes for people to see their breast and all that. So I was so scared about the number of people that will come out here. But I must say that I'm so grateful to. There was somebody actually who came from the eastern region with her daughter to get screened here at Pan African Television just because of the love she has for the station. So I feel like we are giving something back to community for all that they've done for us, you know, the viewership and everything. So I'm so grateful and I'm happy. I'm actually proud that so many people have come out here today to get screened. We have over 50 people who have come out. I was thinking there will be literally no one or something, as much as this was
50 and still counting.
50 and still counting. People are calling in, they are coming and all that. So I'm so grateful to each and everybody, the technical team who has held this project like their own since the beginning. This is for Pan Africa. It's not for Makiza. It's for Pan African Television, and we are so grateful to management for actually putting this together. And I'm sure for words, I don't know what to say. All I'll say is thank you to each and everybody, to Theo's Medical Concierge for doing this with us, to Ultimate for sponsoring with the water, and to the fast food that's the name, for bringing the food to us here too. We are so grateful to each and everyone seated here who has done the screening, and those that are coming, we are waiting for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Makiza. So Makiza Michelin is the project lead for our breast cancer awareness project happening here at Pan African Television. So we are still talking to people. Let me quickly go to one of the medical experts from the Theos Medical Concierge to interaction with her. Good day, madam. I trust you are well.
Hi, I'm good. How are you too?
I'm doing very well. First, thank you so much for being a part of this whole project. But let me quickly ask you, have you met your expectations yet by far?
Yes, I think we have. We were looking at quite a number of people, and I think we've got there. Okay. Most people are shy to check their breasts when it comes to this things, but the number coming in is very encouraging. So I think yes, okay, we have met our expectation. Okay.
What aside the screening, have there been any special cases you have noticed or recorded by far?
So yes, apart from the physical examination and then the screening, we came in with our ultrasound scan machine too. So for those that have issues, pain and lumps in there, we use the ultrasound scan to go further, to do more investigation, and then we write out a report and give it to them. So we follow up later. Okay. Yes.
All right. Very much. Thank you very much. So now there's one thing I quickly want to put across. More often than not, we always think that breast cancer is an illness of just women, but no, it isn't. Men can be affected too. And I have one man here. Bless, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Have you screened yet?
I have.
What was the experience like? Especially in your case as a man.
I would say it's my first time actually. I was actually inspired by the fact that there's been this recent report which has revealed that there's an upsurge in breast cancer cases in men. So it actually inspired me to get checked, and then so I've done it. It was a cool process. It wasn't tedious, and I'm glad I have done it.
Yeah, glad you've done it. So thank you so much. So Bless says he's glad. So it's not too late. You can still come here. We are at the 48 Swanika Street, Abele, Pan African Television premises. It's free, absolutely free as free could ever be. So quickly come, jump on it, and get yourself screened. Don't wait till it's too late. And so I've been joined by one of the medical experts from Theos Medical Concierge. They actually are official medical partners for this project. Good day, madam. What's your name?
I'm Faith.
Faith. What has been your experience by far as regards this whole exercise?
Oh, okay. We've not had any challenges or any difficulties, but then the clients who come are very lively. We communicate very well with them.
Okay.
and everything has been cool and fine.
Okay. No, some earlier raised concerns of shyness, especially because it was their first time.
Yeah.
Did you have to deal with any such?
Not really, but then you know, you don't know someone and you come to meet the person exposing part of your body. There's kind of shyness and those stuff. So
you have to take some, process here and there to break that ice.
Yes, you just tell them to feel at home, and then there's nothing going to happen.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I also want to find out from you quickly. Earlier, I spoke to your colleague about whether or not you've, observed some special cases here and there. Okay. Have you?
With that one, it's personal. We can't disclose that. Yes. So if we have, we'll tell the person personally. It's not something that you disclose. Yes.
Okay. That's fine. So also give us a little bit of education as regards breast cancer. I really don't want us to go into the nitty-gritties of it. I know that they are in stages, and so it's very good to screen early, so if you need to have the cancer, which stage you should. So at what stage does it become unbearable? At what point does it become a hard nut to crack?
Okay, well, when we say breast cancer, it's just abnormalities that forms up in the breast. We all know that we have tissues that is in the breast that helps out with the breast milk and stuff. And so when you have lump, you just, it comes in the hard form. And then when you feel that pain in it, you just have to draw attention, and then we'll pick it up from there. Okay, so when it becomes hard like that, they have to just do the examination and ask you how painful it is to you. Then the specialist take it up from there.
Okay. Thank you so much, Faith, for talking to us. Okay. That'll be it for the news this afternoon as regards our breast screening exercise ongoing here as premises at Belenque, the 48 Swanika Street. And so, as I stated earlier, we have been very big on the issue of breast cancer awareness, and today was just a tip of what we have been up to. My name is Fauzu Masaudu. When you see any of us in pink, it's not for the pump and pageantry, but our message is very simple. We are here to be abreast, to save a breast. Over to you, Ivy.
Thank you so much, Fauzi Masaudu. I'm actually nervous, but from here I would have to go and give it a try. It's actually my first time. And so Pan-African Television is having a free breast screening here at our premises, 48 Swanika Street. And so that was my colleague and reporter Fauzi Masaudu giving us updates on the ground. Now, coming up in business, Aviation Ministry signs Memorandum of Understanding with Egypt Air. We'll bring you details of this after the short break. Thank you for keeping faith with us. If you just tuned in, this is Pan-African Television News here on Pan-African Television with me, Ivy Dede Narkie Teye. Don't forget that we also stream live on Facebook at Pan-African Television. Now to the world of business. The Aviation Minister Joseph Kofi Kori-Adda says government is looking out for the best for Ghana in the aviation by implementing good aviation partnership to boost a new flag career. He made this call during the signing of a memorandum of understanding with Egypt Air for the establishment of a new flag carrier.
According to him, the choice of Cairo-based Egypt Air as the preferred strategic partner follows series of engagement with senior management team of the airline and the Committee of Aviation Experts constituted by the Aviation Ministry over the past 2 weeks. He added that Despite the signing of an MOU last year with Ethiopian Airlines to actualize the vision of the new home-based carrier, the deal was held back due to a lack of agreement over key issues such as routes, funding, and tenure of the management contract, among others. Egypt Air, according to sources, Egypt Air offered a better deal in terms of funding for the new airline, routes, fleet, and personnel, with Ghanaians expected to play key roles in the new entity once it is established. The shareholders' agreement is expected to be finalized in the coming weeks. The agreement is also expected to be submitted to Parliament for approval. Cairo-based Egypt Air currently operates scheduled passenger and freight services to more than 75 destinations in the Middle East, Europe, Africa, Asia, and the Americas.
Former President John Dramani Mahama has promised to grant amnesty to all small-scale miners imprisoned under the current government if he wins the December 7 presidential elections. Speaking at Odumbanso in the Mpaho constituency in the western region of Ghana on Thursday, October 22, 2020, the former president expressed concerns about why a Chinese national was freed while Ghanaians are imprisoned for the same mining offense.
Say, Equity Galamsey. Na Ghana ma omu small scale mining. Watch it yomu. What do you want to court? And the omu call prison. And then they can say, your mother will be at that prison. Say omu ya Galamsey. And so, ya coaching China niba ono ya Galamsey queen. Ono de mo afana anko jina court afana anko tum mo se on de onko ni krom ena mo ja me free oko en so ya ma de omo da efiase ezu ya ba omo chi omo Galamsey no omo atu omumu ya be ma omo amnesty no omo asaba emma honorable Eric Kweku, Chairman.
That's all for business. Coming up is international news.
Pan-African Television, in partnership with Theos Medical Concierge, presents free breast screening. Date 23rd October 2020. Time 9 a.m. Venue Pan-African Television premises Abilimpe. Come in your numbers and get screened for breast cancer. Remember, it is free. Be a breast to save a breast.
Now straight to some international news. On October 21, thousands of workers, peasants, teachers, students, indigenous and Afro-descendant people took part in a new national strike in Colombia to protest against the social and economic policies of President Ivan Duque. Several peaceful demonstrations were held throughout the country in rejection of the economic crisis, the rising unemployment, police repression, the increase in massacres, assassination of social leaders, armed group activity, among other issues.
The capital, Bogota, hundreds of workers from diverse sectors hit the streets and marched towards the Plaza Bolivar, demanding a guaranteed basic income, more funding for health, education and housing sectors, support for small and medium enterprises, and an end to the killings of human rights, community and social leaders, as well as women and LGBTQI community members. In Bogota, the 8,000 participants of the social and community minga for the defense of life, territory, democracy and peace from the southwestern region of Colombia, who arrived in the capital on October 18th to meet President Duque, also joined the strike. Minga is an indigenous Quechua word and refers to collective action for the benefit of the community. The participants of the Minga demand that the national government take immediate measures to put an end to the increasing murders of community leaders, the paramilitary violence in many rural areas, forced displacements, and fulfill its obligations under the peace agreements signed between the former government and the former combatants of the guerrilla group, the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, FARC, in Havana, Cuba in 2016. Similar massive protests were also carried out in the cities of Armenia, Barranquilla, Cali, Cúcuta, Manizales, Medellín, Pamplona, and Popayan. The call for the strike was given by a large number of social organizations and trade unions. Yesterday's national strike happened exactly 1 month after the national strike of September 21st and 6 weeks after the demonstrations following the police killing of a 46-year-old law student and taxi driver, Javier Ordonez, in which 13 other people were killed by the police. Various national progressive and social forces have denounced Duque's administration for its lack of will to implement measures to stop these aggressions, as well as its poor response to the health, economic, and social crisis caused by the COVID-19 pandemic.
The police officer who shot dead Palestinian autistic man Ayad Halak on May 30 has been charged with reckless homicide by the Israeli authorities more than 4 months after the incident on Wednesday, October 21. The civil society and human rights groups, however, have criticized the decision to charge the officer with lesser crime when it was beyond doubt that he killed Ayad in complete violation of his orders and in a deliberate move.
The case against another officer has been dropped following the Israeli Justice Ministry investigation, which concludes that he ordered his subordinate not to shoot. Ayad al-Halak, 32, was killed by the police officer on May 30th in occupied East Jerusalem when he was going to his school. The killing had created a massive outrage among Palestinians who took to the streets demanding justice with the slogan of Palestinian Lives Matter. Israel's Justice Ministry said in a statement on Wednesday that Halak did not pose danger to the police and civilians in the area when he was killed, and the police officer who shot him did so in violation of his orders, Middle East Eye reported. Several Palestinian groups have condemned the Israeli government's move to charge the accused officer with a lesser crime instead of murder. Halak's family had earlier accused the Israeli government officials for destroying evidence in the case, demanding justice for Ayad, member of the Israeli Knesset from the Arab Joint List yourself. Jabarin criticized the Justice Ministry's attempt to shield the guilty officers and said that shooting a person in cold blood in a garbage room is not reckless homicide, it's murder. Israel has erected several checkposts all across the occupied territories, and several Palestinians have been shot in cold blood while crossing them. In most of the cases, the police or security officers responsible for such killings are never charged. Some of them are charged for minor crimes, and Israeli justice system has been lenient even towards those who have been found guilty.
Wrapping up on our international front, on Wednesday, October 21, Spain became the first Western European country to have more than 1 million COVID-19 infections. It is only the 6th nation in the world to have recorded 1 million cases so far. Other countries in the list are the US, India, Brazil, Russia and Argentina. There's more to this.
The number of new infections and deaths in the country has seen a steep rise since late August, which forced the government to bring back some of the restrictions on people's movement lifted earlier. On Wednesday alone, Spain recorded around 17,000 new cases with over 156 deaths. The country had a total of 34,366 COVID-19 related cases so far. France, which is recording more than 25,000 new cases daily, for some days now is set to join Spain and become the 7th country to have recorded more than 1 million cases. As on Wednesday, October 21st, it had 999,744 COVID-19 cases with over 34,000 deaths. France has imposed curfews in 9 regions including the capital, Paris, and several more regions are expected to face similar curfews soon. Several hospitals in and around Paris are facing an overload of cases. In the second round of COVID-19 outbreak, Italy, one of the worst affected countries in the first outbreak, has broken all previous records in terms of new infections. On Wednesday, it recorded 15,199 new cases. This is the single largest one-day increase in the country ever. The spike in new cases has forced the government to bring back curfews. According to a Reuters report, the regions near the capital Rome will have curfew beginning at 5 a.m. on Friday, October 23rd. Germany, which had been able to restrict the number of cases and overall deaths in the first wave of the outbreak, is now recording the highest single daily infections ever. The country is recording more than 10,000 new infections every day, and its total deaths is nearing 10,000. On Wednesday, the country's health minister, Jean Spahn, tested positive. The United Kingdom recorded over 26,000 new cases on Wednesday. Its overall tally reached 7,809,229. Several other countries in the region are recording a record number of new daily cases. The surge in cases has forced countries to take measures to restrict the movement of people and impose physical distancing norms more strictly.
Credit to our international partners, People's Dispatch. We take you to the world of sports after this breather.
It's incredible! Bang on target!
moment on the news, Pan-African news here on Pan-African Television. We are live at Belempe 48 Swanika Street, and we're also live on Facebook at Pan-African Television. Now let's do some soccer. Premier League side Hearts of Oak have officially announced the appointment of Carlos Manuel Vaz Pinto as their new technical director ahead of the 2021 league season.
The 46-year-old, born on August 22, 1974, is expected to touch down on Saturday to conclude negotiations with the Accra-based club. He also has a depth of experience, having managed Angolan clubs Recreativo de Libolo, Recreativo de Kala, and Ethiopian giants St. George. If the deal goes through, Pinto will become the second Portuguese to join the team after Sergio Daniel Muniz Traguio, who took over in 2016, but was axed before the season ended.
In boxing, Roman Gonzalez will defend his WBA super flyweight title strap against Israel Gonzalez today. The bout is billed for the Gimnasio TV Access in Mexico City.
Champion from Nicaragua knocked out Caliafai of England to land the WBA super flyweight crown on February 29, 2020. He has accumulated 49 wins from 51 bouts, with 2 losses in a professional career, which dates back to 2005. Nicknamed Chocolatito and renowned for his aggressive pressure fighting style, he faces a stiff test in Mexico's Israel Gonzalez, Elias Giga, who has 25 wins from 28 bouts and 3 losses, 2 of which were for world titles in 2018.
Now let's do some showbiz. A Nigerian US-based comedian, Japhet Atta Eguma, popularly known as Eguma, has disclosed that the police brutality in Nigeria has affected the mental health of its citizens. He therefore called on the federal government to compensate the families of the reportedly killed NSAS protesters.
Japhet Atta Eguma indicated that the recent conduct of the Nigerian police is in sharp contrast with their mandate of protecting lives and properties. He cannot fathom why the anti-robbery squad SARS, formed to protect citizens from hardened criminals and thieves, are rather doing the opposite. Japhet accused the Nigerian government and the Inspector General of Police of neglecting calls made to them by the Nigerian youth, despite the rampant maiming and killing by SARS. The act, he said, has contributed to stress and trauma on the youth, which has tempered with their state of mental health. He further stressed that the usage of flashy cars and expensive phones cannot be translated to one being a thief or criminal. Japhet called for a total reform of the Nigerian police and further asked the government to compensate families that have lost their loved ones through the protest.
That's all for the media news here on Pan-African Television. And before we go, let's recap our headlines. President Akufo-Addo woos the people of Passa for 4 more years. Karachi West MP takes a swipe at the government for delay in executing road project. President Buhari urges Nigerians to discontinue strike on SARS. Aviation Minister signs Memorandum of Understanding with Egypt Air. And on an international front, Israeli government accused the Shadin police officer who shot dead autistic Palestinian men. Thank you for your time this afternoon. My name is Ivy Abena Dede Narkie Teye. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.